Trump and Larry Fink are taking over the financial system. Now, here's the difference. This isn't 1929. Hear ye, hear ye. The banks are collapsing and playing the telephone game. And we all rush out to take our money out of the bank through information that is fed to us. Television, program information, television, channel information, a channel. The difference is what is being created. What is being created? Listen to me. What is being created in this moment in history gives the people the opportunity to be the system. I know this is hard to digest. I know we're caught up in the conspiracies and all the emotion of what's happening. Yeah, there's a lot happening. There's a reason why it's called left and right. Division, divide, conquer. What is happening right now? And I'm confident saying this on this videos because I know these will go down in history. I know that you'll be able to come back in 2030 and reference these videos. And I'm confidently saying this, as I confidently said, and I've gained a lot more confidence since 2020 because what I've said's come true. I confidently said in 2020 that banks were going to custody your cryptocurrency, that Ripple would beat the SEC. And I put my money where my mouth is. Everybody ran from XRP in December 20th, 2020, and I went all in. And I continued to speak my truth. And it changed my family's life. And I'm going to continue to speak what I know to be true. But now what I know to be true is no longer conspiracy tinfoil hat. It's literally facts, figures, numbers, logic. All you have to do is watch what they're doing, not what they are saying. So here's the thing. We are moving to a system where you are now the bank. Why did they tell you to run from this? It's because they weren't ready for it yet. They knew that there was a system coming where we could transact with each other. So what they did is they told us to look this way as they got positioned this way. Now they're positioned and the water's warm. And now they're going to invite us all in. Now, here's the good news is you're still extremely early. Now, I'm going to give you some warnings. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to blow sunshine up your ass. Is you better get your shit together. I'm that guy. I don't care if you unfollow me, if I'm directed, you better get your shit together if you're the head of household. And you should be studying spiritually, financially, mentally, and you should be training physically. You should stop doomsday scrolling and start studying the stuff I'm talking about. I'm only going to tell you what I'm doing and what's changed my life. I want you to come up with a plan that will work for you. I don't want you to no longer just walk in and say, hey, I hope that you will manage my money properly. And I hope that I will retire. And I hope that Social Security will take care of me. Hope is not a strategy. You got to get serious. You got to get locked in. Study Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Kathy Woods, Robert Kiyosaki. Study the billionaires. Study the big money moves. And I promise you, when you do that, you will slow down. You won't go rushing into XRP. You won't go rushing into World Liberty Financial. You won't rush into Bitcoin or meme coins. You will stay away from meme coins. Trust me. You will absolutely stay away from meme coins. But what you will do is you will devote a big part of your day outside of your family, which is most important. God and family is number one and number two. And outside of all of that, you won't be playing poker with your buddies. You won't be worried about your favorite football team and drunk in the Coliseum. You will be studying and you'll be able to explain to a 10-year-old how your investments work. And when you do that and you pick a couple of good companies, for example, mine's XRP. I know it's not a company, but hear me out on this. I do Warren Buffett style investing. XRP is my number one. Bitcoin's my number two. And Solana's number three. I have many other that I break down on the back end of every video. I'm honest with you exactly what I'm investing. And I have started adding World Liberty Financial to my portfolio. Okay. The reason why I'm open and honest with you guys and tell you guys, because you can come back and reference these videos. When the SEC sued Ripple, I did a little press release on my little tiny YouTube channel, said I'm holding on like a tick on a dog. And I stuck with it. And my portfolio went up 800% since 2020. Got ridiculed, got made fun of. I didn't bend. I didn't sway. I'm like an oak tree, man. And the reason why I'm like an oak tree, you'll learn on the back end of every video. It's because I do the same things repetitively over and over and over and over again, because that's how winning is done. It's not done by jumping in and out of cryptos. It's not done by chasing the next hype. That's how you get wrecked. If you study the book Intelligent Investor, you would not be investing in companies that aren't over 100 million. Okay. You wouldn't be putting your now, maybe if you place a little bet on maybe a pre-IPO company that you think is going to go somewhere, but you're not going all in on something like that. When I think of XRP, I think of the company Ripple and how capitalized they are, how strategic they are, how stoic they are, how disciplined the CEO is. Doesn't get caught in the bullshit, the noise, the banter back and forth. Only praises and lifts people up and continues to push forward. A CEO in a company who locked in and went after the SEC and dug their heels in until they won. That's the type of investing I do. So I think it's important, if you're still listening to this right now, for you to ask yourself a hard question. Do you have your shit together? That's just a self thing, self-reflection. This isn't coming at you. This is coming with you and locking arm. And if we can all get our shit together and we can stop mindlessly scrolling and start turning that into studying, it's game over, man. It's game over. But here's the thing. I've coached 13,000 people since 2020. There's only one warrior out of 100. Well, I don't know why it is that way, but there's only one warrior out of 100. One person out of 100 people gets their shit together. And I don't know why it's that way. So let's first listen to Eric Trump. I'm going to break down how the system is completely changing and cryptocurrency is your new financial system. Pay attention.
Every single day. A year ago, Jamie Dimon was saying, we're not going to touch cryptocurrency. And now they're probably running at digital assets faster than anyone. You see what BlackRock's doing. You see, as I mentioned, what Schwab's doing. You see what nation states are doing. You see what states in this country are doing. Look what Texas just voted on, right? In their legislature, literally being able to custody Bitcoin on their balance sheets, right? So all of a sudden you've got all these cracks in the dam that are breaking. The people who get in now are the people who are getting in early. I believe that with all of my soul. And this is a global asset. This is an asset that everybody wants. This is an asset. It's probably the only asset in the world that has limited supply. There's 21 million. There will never be another one, unlike gold, unlike other commodities. And I'm just watching it from afar as for the first time, the capital markets really have access to it or getting access to it. And so I think cryptocurrency is in its infancy. And I think the trajectory of Bitcoin and of digital assets is going to be parabolic. And I really think we're going to have one of the greatest companies in the ecosystem. And that was launched, obviously, minutes ago.
I agree with him. And I've said that. I've actually said that. I believe with all my soul that the decisions I'm making are the right decisions for my family. That's the type of people I want to listen to. The people with conviction. The conviction. It's like, I believe, and not only do they believe, they're putting their money where their mouth is. These are strategic decisions being made, not based on hype, based on what is actually transmitting. Secure Eyes posted this. Tokenization is bigger than Pokemon. That couldn't be more true. You're going to see what's going to happen. Every single thing is going to be tokenized. Everything. That's the blockchain, guys. So there's a first hint of what you should be studying. Secure Eyes posted this. BlackRock's build is setting the benchmark for on-chain finance as the largest tokenized fund in the world. Tokenized by Secure Eyes. Build, which is custodied by Coinbase. I think Build and Circle, Coinbase are all connected. Has now paid over 700 million in dividends since its launch, including 8.3 million in August alone. Build brings institutional size on-chain with daily yields 24/7 liquidity. Write down the word 24/7. It's so freaking annoying, the stock market. For example, I can buy crypto 24 hours a day. I do pretty heavy on the stock side dividends. I'm doing a dividend place where I create monthly cash flow, right? It's so irritating. Okay, to not be able to, for example, the holiday was Monday, Labor Day, right? I went to go do, I totally forgot. I was like, I'm used to crypto. I go to put a some money into dividends. I buy them every Monday, usually Wednesday and Friday. to create more cash flow, and the market's shut down. So I put in the order and it's like, oh, we're holding your order till Tuesday. It's like, that shit's going away, guys. The market will run 24 hours a day. The whole stock market will be tokenized. Algorand. Okay, there's a hint. There's one of my investments. Okay. So Ray Dalio, today Ray Dalio says crypto is now an alternative currency that has its supply limited. You heard what Eric Trump talked about. Remember, I teach you inflationary, US dollar that can be printed, makes you poor every year. They have fixed supply assets that can't be printed, that have scarcity and supply and demand issues very soon. If the supply of the dollar money rises or the demand for it falls, they would likely make crypto an attractive alternative currency. Well, he changed his tune and he is investing in Bitcoin. The third wealthiest person in Mexico, billionaire, is 70% Bitcoin. RFK, almost 100% of his wealth in Bitcoin. Cantor, owned by Howard Lutnick, who passed it down to Brandon Lutnick, who is our commerce secretary, is going to be a billionaire in Bitcoin. The Trump family is a top 8 holder in their Bitcoin treasury through Trump Media. They now have their own bank, World Liberty Financial, which we actually, if you own the token, have the governance. Okay. Just in, 680 billion US bank now allows Bitcoin custody services for institutional investors and added support for Bitcoin ETFs. US Bank. Okay, so this is all the big companies, but what is our actual SEC and government doing? Went from Gary Gensler, who was literally destroying crypto, and Eleanor Tourette posted this yesterday. It says, the SEC government spring agenda, their spring agenda puts crypto front and center. From trading in custody to safe harbor framework for issuers. A new day indeed. And then Coinbase posted this, CoinDesk, excuse me. Breaking, SEC unveils new rulemaking agenda aiming to revamp crypto regulation and ease Wall Street rules who have seen the overly burdensome. Okay. All right. So here we are. If you are new to my channel, I literally break down exactly what I'm doing every single day repetitively. And that is my superpower. And there's a hint in that. That is what makes me successful. Okay. Again, I share with you, I study Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Kathy Woods. I only study the truly, truly wealthy foundational people that I want to model. I want to model Ray Dalio specifically in regards to my future. I'm 49 years old. Around 60, I would like to start selling off some of my businesses. I'd like to have hope is not a strategy. I will have a big ranch. Maybe I'll have grandkids at that point in my life. I don't know. We'll see where we're going to be at with that. But I'm going to have a ranch for my family. Each of my children will have their own home on that ranch. Okay. From there, I'm going to be a Warren Buffett style investor. I'm going to start to sell off my companies. I'll step into more of a consultant position. I'll probably still do videos, things like this, but I'll sell my companies off to the next generation coming up through our ecosystems. We have 6 different companies. Okay. Most of my companies are being built to sell, right? Eventually. Obviously we have shareholders in some of our companies. So I want to make sure that they believed in us and they invest in us. And I want to make sure that they prosper from that. That's my goal as a CEO of these companies, is to increase the enterprise value. Hence why I have a Bitcoin treasury, an XRP treasury, and a dividend strategy for our main company, right? My job as a CEO is to increase the enterprise value of the company. So 2 things is I need to continue to build value within my companies. From the value that I give is the income that I get. From the income from my family and my ecosystem is I need to make sure that I grow that money. Okay. So here's my exact ecosystem. I do take profits. These people are saying, oh, don't take profits, hold forever. It's like, what's a market for? They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. Everybody's like, well, what do you mean, what if it keeps going up? It's not going to keep going up. That's not how it works, right? They go up and they go down. So here's what I do. Bitcoin, we're going to move that off to the side and we're going to pretend it's gold, okay? It's digital gold for me. It's off to the side, never going to touch it. Bitcoin's off to the side. Altcoins, all other cryptos, okay? Let's talk about what my portfolio is. Number 1 is XRP by a long shot, okay? That is my number 1 holding for our company and for personally, okay? Number 2 is Bitcoin, okay? Number 2 is Bitcoin. Number 3 is Solana. For now, before we go into the next assets that I hold, the top 6, and I have many others, but I'm going to be consolidating into these top 3. Outside of the top 6, I'll keep, but the top 3 I'm going to be working on. Okay. So XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. I'm accumulating XRP and Bitcoin every day, and then Solana every month. These are the 3 that I'm stacked in. The reason why is I study people like Warren Buffett. I study people like Ray Dalio, and I get hyper focused on my assets. Okay. You don't need 20 different cryptos. You don't need a bunch of cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to build a massive portfolio in XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. And I'm going to continue to build those. Okay. I'm going to consolidate. Now I have a very diverse strategy. I have a cash flow strategy. I have an asset strategy. I have a protection strategy, and then I have a leverage strategy. So here's what I do. Oh, let me go over the rest of my portfolio. Top 6. I'm not going to go over my whole portfolio. I got XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain. That's my top 6. I also started getting some exposure to World Liberty Financial, Trump's DeFi platform. Okay. So now here's what I do. Cash flow. Okay. When I profit using Merlin's smartest way to track your crypto, we have a crypto tracker, and then we show you how to profit take, tracks all your crypto, keeps you safe. We don't hold your crypto. It's an interface. So that's how I track my crypto. I keep my crypto safe. Nobody can get to my crypto. It's completely locked up and safe. I make sure I look at my crypto and I analyze my crypto on Merlin. Then I set up exit plans. Okay. So what I do is the first bull run 2020, 2022, we had a big liquidity event, which some of you are going to experience on the back end of this year. And what I did was I took profits and I invested in companies. I built companies. So one company has been here for 8 years, which is 3T War Academy. It's evolved into different names and it's become the 3T War Academy. But I pumped, Jeremy and I, my CFO, we pumped money into this company. We reinvested back. I mean, we went from having a small little facility over there. You can look at my videos. I was doing my videos inside of our gym to now I'm in a studio. We're building a podcast studio, we have a conference center. We put money back into our businesses to grow them, to expand them. We now have 27 team members worldwide, right? We put money back into our ecosystems, right? We also created Merlin's smartest way to track your crypto. We now own a financial a firm. We own Freedom Insurance LLC. So Freedom Insurance is my insurance brokerage, right? We have I have a men's coaching program. We have a podcast company. What else do we got? I got Freedom Asset Management Group that manages the companies, right? So I put my money back into the system to build what? Cash flow. With my cash flow, as the cryptocurrencies collapsed, I did what? I bought back in with cash flow. I bought back into deflationary assets with fixed supply that are going to appreciate. Okay. When they appreciate, I put money into protection, cash value life insurance. Every month I put money into my premiums. So I'm getting paid cash from my cash generating businesses, which I took my profits from deflationary assets to build cash flow. I took the cash flow into deflationary assets. Okay. I also take cash flow and I buy cash generating dividends. I take cash from the dividends and I de-risk into deflationary assets. When they profit, boom, back into 2025 max fund policies. Okay. Now we got Bitcoin sitting over here in the leverage component. We got an insurance component right here. So when the bear market hits, I now have cash life insurance sitting over here. I can borrow against it at 5% for the year, $100,000 at 5%, and do what? Buy more deflationary assets that grow 50% every year. Hence Bitcoin. XRP went up 800% since 2020, So I'm taking a 5% loan, leveraging against the bank, not myself, tax-free, buying assets that grow dramatically. And then what happens? Goes up, pay it off, more leverage. Okay, the example that I give is the exact leverage that I used around my Bitcoin. I'll bring you guys back on the screen. If you need Merlin, guys, it's 30 days for free. Click link in my bio down below. Get your Merlin set up. Let us help you with an exit strategy or a profit taking plan. Okay. So like the Bitcoin, I took my Bitcoin, I put it on salt. Here's really important. Watch my education videos because leverage, we're all addicted to leverage, right? We buy auto loans, we buy homes, we get credit cards. And so, people say, oh, don't buy debt, but most people buy a mortgage. Most people have a mortgage. I have a mortgage, right? We have only my cars are through my companies, right? So they're somewhat, I guess, wouldn't be an asset, but we turned a liability into an expense, right? My point behind this is we all believe in leverage. The whole system is debt. Okay. You're either on the debt side or you're on the asset side. Okay. There's a liability person and there's an asset person. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to transmute and be on the asset side. Okay. So what I do is I borrow from my assets to buy what? To buy cash flow, to buy assets that appreciate that can pay off the leverage. So I'm taking $1, taking leverage and creating two. When the two births a baby, I pay it off and then I do it again. The one become two. Richest man in Babylon. Save 10%, leverage it or grow it, borrow it, the brother or sister. Does that make sense? So I started with just crypto. They took away my ability to feed my family in 2020 with the pandemic. I got pissed. I'm like, never going to happen again. So I got obsessed with cash flow. I profited. I didn't buy Lambos, Ferraris, big houses and watches. And I didn't try to flex on anybody. I took it and I flexed by reinvesting back into my companies. My companies started to do very, very well. And what I didn't do is I didn't start to pay myself this huge salary. I still make almost the exact same salary I did from 2021. Okay. What I did is I pumped money back into the companies. I hired team members. I scaled. We built other ecosystems. And then eventually I started getting paid dividends from cash flow. And then any excess money I put into also stock dividends. So I started increasing my income. With the income, I bought when everybody was running from crypto. Crypto went up, liquidity event, boom, max fund policies. It's an ecosystem. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but the question is, what is your ecosystem? Is your ecosystem sitting there watching your favorite influencer, hoping that XRP is going to go to 589? That's not a system. You're going to get wrecked. I promise you. Is your system when XRP goes to this, you're not going to have a plan. There's going to be no plan. So exactly what you're doing now, if you have bad spending habits at $30,000 a year or $100,000 a year, you're going to be in a really bad position when you have $10 million. It's only going to exasperate who you currently are. You don't wait for saviors. You don't wait for XRP to go to whatever. You set up a plan and you stick to the plan. Warren Buffett isn't hoping that Coca-Cola does XYZ. He's sitting back, he's stacking, collecting dividends, transmuting the dividends. When the markets are red and the markets are fearful, he buys the shit out of it. When you're panicking, he buys your panic. When you're celebrating, he's pulling profits and buying more cash flow. It's that simple. Okay. So we got to make the complex simple. We got to get out of the get rich quick mindset. You got to create a disciplined ecosystem. If you don't, you're going to get wrecked. Okay. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. God bless you. Love you guys.